tech is in bed with big con. The people you thought, the people I thought were fighting for you, a lot of it has been a big con. I now know what you are signing out there. I have the luxury of not having to. Let me go through this. They don't get deals that...
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand.
But he's not exactly a self-made man. That's not true. He was paid by PJTV when I met him, which was owned by a billionaire at the time. Then he was paid by CRTV for a number of years, which was owned by a billionaire at the time. Then he was paid by The Blaze, which was subsidized by a billionaire. During all of that time, Stephen drove a ton of revenue. He's incredibly valuable. I'm not suggesting that he wasn't driving value. He was. I'm only saying he didn't have to build all of that.
Well, LOL to anyone who thinks that Steven Crowder is not doing this to make money. Like, I mean, I just have to outwardly laugh. He's the person in a disguise. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? He's like, I'm here because I care about all of you. That's why I'm recording my friend and doing this crappy thing where I literally could have just said, no, I don't like those terms, and then said to everybody, I'm starting my own outfit.
This video is brought to you by the Officer Tatum Store, the Officer Tatum Store. Ladies and gentlemen, 40% off all the items on the clearance rack. The new items are not included in that 40% off. I just want you to know it's just our clearance items. Obviously, we have the brand new premium line that I just established called the Tatum line, Tatum Signature line, the best product on the market that you're going to get. These jackets are off the chain. I wore it to the SHOT Show, and people were going crazy over this jacket. We also have the oversized hats. We call it the noggin hats. I mean, I could wear them in another video to show you. These are incredible. And we got the special limited edition The Officer Tatum show hats that you can get. All of these are available right now, and we got a bunch of items coming soon for pre-order, so make sure you pre-order them now. Y'all already know what to do. Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notification anytime we go live. I make a video, make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. I want to start my show by addressing the Steven Crowder Daily Wire feud. Now, I'm going to be transparent about what I saw and what I didn't see. I watched both of Steven Crowder's videos he put out, and I watched portions of Jeremy Boering, who he is the co-founder of Daily Wire. I watched his explanation and description of their side of the coin when it comes to the documents that Steven Crowder put up on the screen and his critique of how intrusive, slave-like he believed their contracts are, and predatorial that he feel that their contracts are when it comes to newer influencers and people like himself who already have a following, already have an established audience, and he felt as if they were going to take advantage of him, and it was absolutely asinine to write up a contract like that.
Big tech is in bed with big con. The people you thought, the people I thought were fighting for you, a lot of it has been a big con. Now, I'm specifically avoiding naming names or going after individuals in this video because I genuinely hope that those I'm addressing, and you know who you are, have a change of heart. Don't sign these contracts. I now know what you are signing out there. I have the luxury of not having to. Let me go through this. If any of the major platforms issues a content strike such that Crowder cannot be monetized on such platform, the fee will be reduced by 25%. And then another 20% of it happens on Apple. And then another 10% of it happens on Facebook. And then another 10% of it happens on Spotify. And then if you get a strike, meaning a suspension, another 20%. Just to drive it home. You get hit by a car, you have a sick day, you could lose $100,000 a day. So
in the prelude to this, I was saying that one side I believe was wrong, and then another side I think was reasonable. Now I could tell you right off the top that I think that Steven Crowder did not handle that situation properly. And I would argue there's a couple areas where I think that Steven Crowder's statements were disingenuous at best. And I really lost some respect for Steven Crowder in the way he handled it. Now let me give you the good, bad, and the ugly on both sides. The documents showed a plethora of different obligations that the Daily Wire requested of him if he was going to make, hold the phone, $50 million.
Here was our offer. A 4-year initial term with 2-year renewal at DW's sole discretion. That just means Stephen's going to work for DW for 4 years. And if it's going really well, DW can retain him for an additional 2 years. 2, the fee. And remember, this is the minimum number that we thought would get the conversation started with Stephen. $50 million for the initial term, plus $25 million for the renewal term, if extended, paid in monthly installments. Like I say, a pretty big number, but we thought for a talent like Stephen, this is probably the minimum number that's going to get us in the door so that we can sit down and talk to him.
Jeremy, the co-founder of Daily Wire, said they were even willing to go up to $100 million for Steven Crowder. And what did Steven Crowder do? And this is where I have the problem. I don't really have a problem with Steven Crowder saying, look, I don't want to be penalized if I get demonetized on social platforms. It's outside of my control. I should not be penalized. That structure isn't conducive for me. I will be okay with Steven Crowder saying that, right? I'll be okay with Steven Crowder saying, you know what, I think that this is not conducive for young people who are coming up in the movement. They're going to be restricted. All their platforms are going to be owned, and you know, they're being led a dream that is never going to come to fruition. If that was what he believed, I have no problem with that. Each his own. But the problem that I have with Steven Crowder is that Steven Crowder secretly recorded Jeremy Boering. Secretly recorded him. Supposedly they were friends for 10 years. And he led the conversation based on all the different things that I saw. He had the conversation set up as friends, and that he was asking him about his family and Christmas and stuff like that. And then he turned it into asking him questions that he knew he was going to record in order to put him on blast.
I can't imagine my show trying to come up and be beholden to YouTube advertiser guidelines, let alone, I mean, honestly, being beholden from a conservative entity with hard strikes, right, being removed, but let alone being advertiser friendly. We know how broad those guidelines are. They might as well just read, don't say anything offensive, and they change them at the drop of a hat.
I'm not suggesting that the guidelines aren't terrible. I'm suggesting that if making money off of those platforms is part of how you're justifying the salary you're paying someone, then or the fee I keep saying salary, the fee you're paying someone, then when those go away, everybody loses money. You can't pay the same amount with less revenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, principle number 1, you don't secretly record people that you claim are your friends. All right, let me go with point 2 that I think was weird, that I think Steven Crowder was at fault, in my opinion, on. You don't like the contract, fine. Don't sign the contract, brother. If you think you can do better than paying you $50 million, then do it on your own. There's no need for you even talk to anybody about contracts. If you think that you could do better than $50 million in 4 years on your own. But the other thing is that I think, my personal opinion, that this was a setup to leverage a contract and to leverage and disrespect Daily Wire in order for him to obtain favor from people on his own personal platform. He came out of the gate, he said all these things before he named Daily Wire, and he was getting people to sign up on his Mug Club subscription. That's what this is all about, in my opinion, based on what I saw. That's what this is all about. Using clout in order to build your platform. Coming out with a conspiracy or coming out with an argument or a disagreement or beef, knowing that it's going to draw so much attention. These videos that he has beef with Daily Wire on got millions of views. Knowing that it's going to draw attention, making yourself out to be the virtuous one, so people can either feel sorry for you and sign up through sympathy, or you can get other people on your team, like Daily Wire got on their team, for you to have a big conglomerate business. That's the way I interpreted what I saw. He already had the domain name, already had the landing page set up. What else could it have been? He didn't just say this for the sake of it. He was saying it as he's pitching his new own platform. Now, the third thing I had a problem with, I don't like when people say things that they know are disingenuous. Now, you guys don't know how disingenuous this is, but somebody like me, who's an influencer, who works with YouTube, who has a YouTube liaison, like YouTube sent a liaison that I communicate with for my channel. And I know for a fact Steven Crowder must have somebody like that. And if he doesn't, it may be by choice. But when Steven Crowder got on his platform and made the statement as if Daily Wire is kissing the rear end of big tech and subjecting their clients or their talent to the whim of big tech and making it out to be a bad thing and portraying himself as if he's not doing it, I think was the most disingenuous thing he could have said. Ladies and gentlemen, if Steven Crowder was really saying anything he want to say and he was just bucking up against the system, they would have banned him on YouTube. I know so many people that's banned right now because they really say whatever they want to say. In my opinion, based on my observation, Steven Crowder has gone to a point in getting a strike, threatening to ban him, but he backs off of it so he can maintain 5 million subscribers that he have on his YouTube channel. If you do anything other than that, you are an idiot. I don't want to hear nobody tell me, well, you censoring yourself because of big tech. Listen, man, you got to be smarter. You got to play the game. There ain't no pumping your chest out and acting like, oh, I'm big and mighty and I'm gonna say whatever I want on these people's platform, and I dare them to suspend me. If you're just an influencer and you don't have an empire that you've built, it's easy to say that. And Steven Crowder is not doing this. He's telling smaller people to be bold to do it, but I don't think this is what he's doing. Because if I get banned on YouTube, these people that I provide for, my employees that I provide for, we got about 12 of them. They're going to be unemployed. They're going to be looking for a job. They're not going to have health insurance. So it's not about being high and mighty and, oh, I'm better than this person because I'm willing to say whatever I want to say on these YouTube channels. That's not realistic. That's not smart, and that's not how real businessmen work. So I didn't like the fact that Steven Crowder brought that objective up because I don't think it's genuine. He clearly is watching what he say. And my wife had made mention that he has another channel on Rumble where he goes, I think it's like F YouTube channel, where he say whatever he really want to say. So it's like you're just proving your point, brother. If you're not already saying what you want to say on YouTube, then that means you're censoring yourself, which is smart. Then you say whatever you want on another platform, which is Rumble. It's a no-brainer. But to act like he was virtuous and that he cares about the people more than the money, and that Daily Wire was somehow manipulating people and only care about business, it just was so disingenuous. And Jeremy Boring, he pretty much articulated that they came back. Steven Crowder's team came back with a counteroffer. So it wasn't about principle. It was the fact that I think Steven Crowder was upset that he didn't get the money that he wanted. And he decided, I think on a whim of emotion, to say, I'm going to start my own platform, forget Daily Wire. I'm going to come out and blast Daily Wire, and then I'm going to have people sign up to my mug club, and I'm going to send in their resume, because he said, send in your resume. If you think you got a bad contract, we'll look at your contract for you. To me, that's another plot to say, I'm going to recruit as many people as I can and see who I can bring onto my team, and we can start our own thing. So that's my problems that I had with the beef between Steven Crowder and Daily Wire. Let me finish the statement I was making about the Steven Crowder Daily Wire. Clearly from my statement, you could tell that I think that Steven Crowder did not do this right. And I don't even think he was acting in good faith, if you ask me. I just don't think he was acting in good faith. When you secretly record somebody that you say is your friend, I don't think that's acting in good faith. When you already have a platform ready to go and you're already recruiting and you do that at the behest of another person, on the backs of another person, I don't think that makes sense. You know, I had conversations with Daily Wire. It didn't really go that far. I mean, we didn't go to a contractual thing, but I had conversations with them. They never called me back. I'm not mad at them. I understand that I do this stuff independently. You know, it was kind of like something floating in the air with the Daily Wire, and I was like, oh, let me see what they got. If you could offer me more than I offer myself, and it makes sense long term, we can do it. But I think after conversations, they realized that, look, they probably not trying to pay me what I make. Steven Crowder must have an infrastructure that I don't have. And there's no harm, no foul. I think Daily Wire is incredible. I think they're cutting edge. I think they're leading the movement in a lot of ways. I've had, and I don't want to say names of everybody, but I had PragerU. I had conversations with. I used to work for Turning Point. I had conversations with Turning Point. There was contracts that I saw with Turning Point that wasn't in my best interest. And no harm, no foul. I think all of these places are incredible. But at some point, things may not be what's best for you. And that don't mean that I'm gonna go and secretly record Charlie Kirk and try to blast them out of context in order to push my own agenda. That doesn't make sense. You can't. That doesn't seem like a reasonable person in good faith would do that. And there's nothing wrong. And you guys can go, and I'm going to put the links to all of these videos so you can watch it for yourself. Steven Crowder's video, Jeremy Boering's video, Candace Owens' video, all that. I'm going to put links in my video on YouTube because I'm going to make this into the video on YouTube. And you can watch it for yourself. But, I just really don't think, after listening to everybody's conversation, that he did this in good faith. It's nothing wrong with a company saying, if we're going to invest money in you, we want you to do X, Y, Z. That's a business strategy. Therefore, we don't lose money. We're going to promise you $50 million in the next 4 years or 5 years of what their thing was. You got to think, Steven Crowder hadn't made $50 million. What they're doing is they're going to promise him some money that they believe through their investment, they're going to make that money back and some. But there's a potential that something can happen to Steven Crowder and he don't make that money and they're out of the contractually promised money. So, yeah, they're going to tell you need to post this many times a day. Yeah, if you get demonetized, then they can't afford to pay you because you're not bringing any money in. So those things are reasonable. It may not be for you, but it's reasonable. And I felt like the Daily Wire handled it very professionally. And, one of my favorite comments on it all was, I think Candace Owens probably summed it up the best. And I heard on her regular show, she went crazy. She dropped a couple cuss words that we can't put on the radio, that she went in on Steven Crowder on her show. Or maybe it was on Tim Pool. No, I think it was her show that she may have said a couple cuss words. I didn't get to watch all of the shows, but I think she summed it up pretty good and talked about the fact that she think that he, has some insecurities. And I'm going to let you listen to what she said because I don't want to take her words out of context. Listen to what Candace Owens say, and I think that based on the totality of what I've listened to, this seems to be a closely related synopsis that I have about the Steven Crowder situation. Let's roll the clip from Candace Owens.
Maybe he's feeling a little insecure. He thought that he was a free agent. He feels like he's Tom Brady. Everyone's going to make me all these offers. And he felt like it came in extremely low. Tom Brady. I'm Tom Brady. Why am I getting offered $50 million? I should be offered $140 million. And the team says, no, thank you, Tom Brady. And then he goes, well, I'm effing Tom Brady. Well, the truth is I think Steven Crowder was feeling insecure. I think he was reeling after those negotiations. I think there are very few conservative networks that can offer him that money. He's actually, he's burned a few bridges, right? Fox News, he's burned a bridge. He's burned a bridge with the Blaze. How many other companies in the conservative movement does he think can reasonably afford to pay him what he thinks he's worth, right? The Daily Wire. So when he was done, I think that he was feeling tremendously insecure, right? When those negotiations failed in October or November, he stewed on it in November, stewed on it in December, came up in January and decided, okay, I'm going to have to launch my own outfit. I'm going to go after the Daily Wire. And his plot line included calling Jeremy Boering, catching him on we only have seen a piece of his conversation. Jeremy has already tweeted that he called him like, hey, let's catch up. And now he was like, let's talk about the kids and Christmas. They were friends. Very close friends, okay? Steven Crowder has said they were friends, not colleagues, not associates, not, like I would say me and Matt Walsh and we're associates, but friends. He called his friends to talk about Christmas and his kids and said he recorded him and then dropped that recording a week later, pretending that he was doing this to be a martyr. I just don't see how people don't realize this guy is a fundamentally bad person. Well, LOL to anyone who thinks that Steven Crowder is not doing this to make money. I just have to outwardly laugh. He's the person in a disguise. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? He's like, I'm here because I care about all of you. That's why I'm recording my friend and doing this crappy thing where I literally could have just said, no, I don't like those terms, and then said to everybody, I'm starting my own outfit. Fair. You walk away all the time. You have I have walked away. I had an offer from the Blaze. It didn't work for me. You know what I mean? I don't need to piece apart the contract. I love those guys. I think Tyler is amazing. This is what I'm saying. People need to stop thinking that he is some knight in shining armor. He's not. He's not a knight in shining armor. And if you can't see that, watch this video, because I think his acting is never more apparent. Even the titles, I didn't want to do this. Oh, really? Then why the hell did you record him? What were you doing that for? Did you think you were going to go to court?
Fair point.
Did you think you were going to go to court? Because that's the only reason you record someone. You'd be like, I don't trust my ex-fucking wife. Pardon my language, okay? I don't trust my ex-wife, so I'm going to record this phone call for safety, right? You record it because you're nervous that there's going to be a court hearing or the police are going to find out, and you've got to back up what you said, okay? Why are you recording your friend? If not because you think it's going to go to court. Oh, because you think it's going to go to public and you're doing it intentionally because you know you're about to start a war. People, please use your common sense. It's not even because I work for Daily Wire. It is because he personally he's lying, and he insulted me, and during his lying campaign, he's still lying. He even said something in this video where he's like, now they're sending out their... No. If you're going to aim and you're going to hit somebody with shrapnel and it's going to be me, you better aim correctly, because I don't like shit like this, okay? I have been quiet. I know Steven Crowder treats people like absolute trash. It's a known thing in the conservative movement. Ask anybody that works at the Blaze. Any person who's ever had a show on the Blaze, how Steven Crowder treats people. By the way, you want to talk about contract negotiations? Why doesn't somebody reach out to Not Gay Jared, right, who used to be with Steven Crowder, and figure out why he can't speak? Why doesn't Steven Crowder release Not Gay Jared from his NDA? I don't like shit like this. Is all I'm saying. I don't like it. Everyone from Alex Jones to Ben Shapiro to Paul Joseph Watson, Mike Cernovich is somebody that I call and ask for advice from time to time. Jack Posobiec. I'm a kind of person that judges people based on how they treat people, right? I'm not interested in dabbling in this nonsense from time to time that appears and then goes away and ebbs and flows. This situation, though, was different because basically Steven Crowder decided to launch a war and didn't really care who got hit, with the shrapnel, right? He comes out, he makes this glorious video, which it's shocking to me that people cannot see the amount of acting that is going into this. We all understand he was a childhood actor. I loved that show, Arthur. He was the brain. He is an actor. At the end of the day, he's an actor. It's also why he's so entertaining when it comes to politics. He's a talented person, but that people cannot discern the amount of acting that has gone on in this is stunning to me. I don't know where people's discernment, what's gone on with discernment, where you can't just spiritually discern that, this feels a little weird, right? You're recording conversations with someone that you have told us you are friends with forever. Oh, and by the way, at the end of you saying that you're just trying to do the right thing, you're also saying, I'm going to launch my own thing, right? So just when I first saw the first video that he dropped, obviously I'm not privy to negotiations that happen at the Daily Wire. I had no idea they were negotiating with Steven Crowder. Again, not my business. I came into work one day, suddenly Brett Cooper was there. Not my business. I don't know who they're hiring. I don't own the company, right? But what I started getting was after I had dropped my podcast, in the comment section, everyone was basically tearing me apart, being like, blink twice if you need help, for a single, like I'm a hostage situation, or saying, what if you don't say anything about Steven Crowder, you're a fraud, just like suddenly you're a fraud. So I go and I watch this video, and just like everybody else watching it live, his first video, your instincts are like, whoa, he's throwing some bombs. He's calling it big con. He's saying essentially that we are enslaved by these contract terms. He actually uses the term enslavement. If you don't want to be a slave, maybe you'll come work with me. I'm going to figure it out for all of us. Like, you're a hero, you're a martyr. And because I was getting so many comments, the first thing I did was that I messaged my EP and I said, we have to cover this tomorrow on the show, because now everyone thinks I'm a fraud and they think that I've signed with fraudulent terms or slave-like terms. And that's so totally unfair to me. So my interest in this is that it hit me and it hit everybody else at Daily Wire, and it was unfair.
Hey, I didn't go that far to say he's a bad person, but if he did what Candace said he did and what Jeremy said he did and some of what Steven said he did and actually visibly put the man's recorded conversations out there, I think that's not good. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm just going to be honest. I have never heard anybody say anything positive personally about Steven Crowder. I've never had anybody say anything positive. I've had at least 4 people that in conversation had mentioned where his behavior is literally stained in their memory, and they had so many negative things to say about him. Now, does that mean that you're a bad person? I don't know. Maybe there's 4 people that just didn't like you. But I find it ironic, good people, and most of the people that you hear, and in my case, everybody that I heard speak about him had nothing but negative things to say. I feel like when you're a good person, you're going to have far more people say positive than negative. Like Dennis Prager. I couldn't find a person to say anything bad about Dennis Prager. You probably couldn't find a person. There's so many people that I know that people just rave over. And in my opinion, it's a reflection of who they are. But I'll end it with this, and I guess you could say that I'm biased because I really do believe that Steven Crowder didn't do anything effective in this situation. And I think he kind of gaslit some of his people and tried to make it seem like he was a martyr in this world of censorship, when in reality, I know what it is. He playing the game. He's not going to say stuff to get him banned. That's why he's still on Twitter. That's why he's still on YouTube. That's why he's still on all these platforms, because he understands the value of having 6 million subscribers. And you a fool if you don't. Hold the phone. I'll be back after the break.